Hello, welcome back！ 歡迎大家翻嚟再次收睇 ROKA Talks 嘅。咁今日咧就有少少唔同，咁咧就已經見到我多咗一個人啦。呢個咧就係 ROKA Talks 裏面嘅 Ro 啦。咁樣咧，我就想同佢問下，今日想同佢傾下偈，就問下佢咧，身為一個英國人咧，咁對香港人咧有啲咩印象 ？Okay, let's get started. Okay, me ask you. Can you tell the viewers about how long you've been in Hong Kong and this and that, a little bit, very brief history. Just tell them.
Yeah, so I moved to Hong Kong in 2009 and lived and worked there full time for 4 years and left in 2013.
Alright, so when you first moved to Hong Kong, what's your impression? Was it your first time?
Yes, never been to Hong Kong before, never lived in Asia before.
So you thought Hong Kong was in Japan?
To be perfectly honest, I didn't know precisely where Hong Kong was. It's kind of feel ashamed to say that right now, but definitely was the case, yes.
Yeah, so what's your impression then when you first arrived Hong Kong? Your first day, tell us about your first day.
My first day I have to spend in the airport for various reasons, and I could just look out the windows the whole time and just see this wall-to-wall housing on the island there where the airport is, and I've never seen anything like it in my life. I felt, what have I done? Then it was only after then living in Hong Kong for a little bit longer that I realised that this kind of population density and housing was just everywhere in the urbanised areas, and that what I'd seen from the airport and been so sort of shocked by was actually only one tiny little bit of it.
What do you think, like I've said, comparing to interacting with people in the UK, comparing to interacting with people in Hong Kong initially? So what's the difference? Or will you say, oh, that's no difference, except the language?
I think initially not much difference, because my initial exposure was all about maybe staying in a serviced place to live, or going to get a bank account set up. But maybe I would say initially, yes, a bit more efficient, and things seemed quite seamless and well organised and less complicated actually. Maybe a bit more straightforward for all of those sorts of day-to-day things.
So in another word, it's not very straightforward living in the UK or dealing with people in general, or services, or...
I think, yes, the culture of service in the UK does generally seem not as good as in several other places in the world. In Hong Kong, for example, maybe partly backed up by things like having an ID card, but staff generally seemed to know what they were doing, and they seemed to have been well trained in Hong Kong. They knew exactly what was trying to be achieved, and they knew how to achieve that, and they knew what to tell you to get to that. So it always felt quite, even if you had to take quite a few steps, it was clear what those steps would be, and you were told very clearly, this is what you have to do, and then you have to do it. Sometimes in the UK you might meet with staff maybe not knowing exactly what they have to do, maybe not really understanding what you're trying to achieve, and even then they might not even know exactly how to go about it, and you just sometimes are met with a bit of a dead end, or a kind of left going away from some sort of situation, like opening something and or signing up to something with not knowing where to go next, or just feeling a sense of complication and unresolved. But I think in Hong Kong generally things could be resolved much more quickly.
Right, so basically you're saying people in here, they don't know what they're doing.
Yes, I mean, I do sometimes feel that there may be lack of training, and staff are just put in situations, sometimes at least, and you wonder sometimes whether what they're telling you is really correct, or whether they're just almost making things up just to fill in the dead air, because they don't really know exactly what to tell you.
Right, okay. Good to know. Okay, now, so tell me about, is there any difference comparing like when you first arrived in Hong Kong, your impression on people in Hong Kong, and after a few years, and your impression of people in Hong Kong, has any changes, or did you Did you change your mind or anything else?
I think my initial impression tend to stick with me. I think the efficiency and so on. But maybe I understood a bit more about why and so on. And when you're away somewhere longer, you understand a bit better. But the actual outcome of being efficient and knowledgeable about things and getting things done and straightforwardly is right there from the very beginning.
I would like to know, do you have any advice for the viewers or people that would like to come to the UK, move to the UK, study in the UK, to prepare them in terms of cultural differences between Hong Kongers and British people?
I think when it comes to getting yourself organised and so on, it's all about managing expectations, really. So first of all, always good to inform yourself on from a reliable source what the steps are for whatever it is you want to do, because there's always a chance that the person you come up against or contact might not have it quite as clearly as it should be. So know what you're wanting to do, know what the correct steps are by checking the source, a reliable source, so that you're informed, and then have everything ready in advance. So expect that you might have to do more of the work yourself. You're not necessarily going to find somebody who can efficiently tell you what you need to do and help you get it done. It's possible that they might do, but it's better if you have that clear in your head first, I think.
So basically you're telling people that, for example, you have to apply something, then you have to do a lot of research as well, instead of like, okay, I'm going to apply this and do this and tell me what I have to do.
Maybe I can imagine, for example, you turn up to have some sort of application for something, and maybe you need a photocopy of something. Say you don't have something, it's possible that you kind of get rejected because something's not quite right, and you just have to kind of go away, and it causes delay.
I don't even know where to get photocopies in this country.
Well, exactly. Just to kind of have it sort of let's say idiot proof right from the beginning, so that there's almost nowhere that it can fall down along the way.
Right. So you're saying trust no one.
Well, it's like everything. If it's not all doom and gloom, but it's better to be prepared, because you might find that can make it much more efficient.
I would like to know if someone from Hong Kong would like to move to the UK, come to the UK, I don't know, move here, study, whatever. What kind of advice you're going to give them to prepare them based on what you just said previously about, Hong Kong people are more efficient? Then what do they have to expect or prepare themselves?
Well, they're going to have to expect maybe a bit of less efficiency in certain situations. Have everything ready, do your research as to exactly what's needed.
Right, so that means whatever you do, don't rely on that person only. For example, if you have to apply something, then better to do some research and read about it beforehand.
Yes, look at a reliable source of information, have all of your things ready, and then it may go more smoothly.
Right, okay, so what about day-to-day life? Because I remember when we go to a supermarket, if you go to the till, the person who works in the till is always a bit slow. Compared to Hong Kong, people are very quick when they just scan everything and they tell you how much is it, and then you pay and you go. But in here, to me, they are relatively slow. Sometimes they just want to talk, or they are talking to the person before you for ages and they don't care how many people are actually waiting. I assume that's right, isn't it?
Yes, I would sum it up as a lack of customer focus, and sometimes it can be really appalling, especially when one's experienced good customer service and efficient customer service, to see a staff member talking to another staff member or chatting to the person who's buying something at the till instead of efficiently dealing with the queue that's building up. That can be quite shocking.
You can say, actually, you can argue that it is a good customer service because the person buying things, they want to be friendly. It's just that the person behind them is a bit impatient, isn't it? Like us or me.
Well, it depends. If the person behind the till is actually serving one of their colleagues who's just got off work, and they're chatting about how they're going to supply them with marijuana tomorrow, then it's quite appalling in my view.
Is it what happened?
Yeah, that happened to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Which
Just
supermarket?
downstairs.
Really?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, God's sake. Jesus Christ. So, yeah, I mean, inefficiency, I've talked about that in previous video about inefficiency or, comparing to Hong Kong. I also question about, is it because people in Hong Kong are too rushed, too quick?
Well, it's maybe two sides of the same coin. You maybe expect efficiency because you're under pressure and you're living in a fast-paced city. And Hong Kong and London are obviously two world cities, if you like, whatever that means. But I think Hong Kong is definitely much more intense. So it's necessary to have that efficiency.
Yeah, because I remember when I was in Hong Kong, it's always rushing, no matter where we go. Even though, let's say we're going to have dim sum, we still have to rush to get the ticket from the reception. It's always a rush, a big rush. And I always ask myself, is it, are we too rushed? Or just people here just bloody slow? Just something about... And I have to tune myself to be a bit more slowly comparing to, when I was in Hong Kong before. You can tell it's very slow, isn't it?
I'm just waiting.
OK， 今日就到此為止先。下一次咧有啲乜嘢咧，我就同大家講下嘅。咁如果大家中意呢個 video 咧，就記住 click 個 like， 同埋有啲咩 feedback 啊、啲咩問題咧，就留喺下邊嘅 comment box 嗰度俾我嘅。咁記住就係 subscribe 嗰個 channel。咁下一次咧有啲咩新 video 咧，大家都可以第一時間咧睇到嘅。咁係啦，我仲有其他唔同 video cover 咗唔同嘅嘢嘅，咁大家可以 click 嚟睇下。咁下一次咧再見啦，多謝大家收睇 ，thank you，拜拜。